About 12 years ago, I started with about 500 USD, and now I finally built a 7-figure investment portfolio. And today, I'd like to share 6 lessons that make the biggest difference in my investment journey, including the costly mistake I made early on that I see every expat still repeat, and why everything we were told about investing might be missing the point. And hey, it's Charlene, and this is the YouTube channel where I share my 10+ years banking and investing experience with you all for free. Like and subscribe for more content like this. So when I first started investing, I did what most people do. So I went looking for good investments or best investments. I heard names S&P 500, Google, Microsoft, and I bought things that sounded smart. So I didn't even ask for the most important question. So what is this money actually for? So I was building a collection of investments, just not a strategy. And this is actually the mistake I see a lot of my kind of friends, people that see, repeat. Let me show you why it matters. For example, I like to use this example. So take a 22-year-old woman who just graduated and want to retire early, FIRE, they want to sit on a beach in Thailand, for example, financially free by her 40s. Should she invest the same way as a 55-year-old woman planning for retirement in Zurich, for example, in 10 years? Of course not, right? And the 22-year-old has decades ahead of her, and she can afford to take real risk. And the 55-year-old is close to finish line, and she cannot afford a major downturn right before she needs the money. So should either of them invest the same way as, for example, a 35-year-old man with a young family who wants to give his children the best possible education, or a 40-year-old single professional whose dream is to buy a property in Zurich in 5 years? So what I just mentioned is for people, for completely different goals and timelines, and for completely different strategies. And yet the most common advice online tell all of us the same thing. Just buy the S&P 500, just pick an ETF, just buy some cryptocurrency like this. In the early stages, I had a lot of individual stocks myself, and some they indeed worked, and which was actually the problem. Why? Because early wins, I would say, in individual stocks teach you to confuse luck with skill. So I have been reducing that, to be real honest, single stock exposure ever since. And this kind of shift happened when I started thinking in goals first. So short-term goals, so money I might need within 2 to 3 years, then I wouldn't invest in something super risky. And midterm, for example, a property, a move, something in the next 3 to 7 years. So I can kind of take a more balanced approach. And for the long term, building wealth for financial independence decades from now on, I can take definitely more risk. So each timeline determines how much risk is appropriate. But at the very beginning, I just didn't understand all this. So the first lesson I would like to share here is the best investment is not the most popular one. It is the one that fits your goal, your timeline, and your life. Strategy first, product second, always. And lesson number 2, I would say this is the mindset shift that almost changed everything for me. So during my journalism career in Hong Kong back then, so as you may know, I started my career as a banking journalist. So my full-time job was to interview those multimillionaires and billionaires and their bankers to investigate how those rich invest. And I noticed something quite early on. So wealthy people, they didn't spend the way I expected. So they were not necessarily buying the most expensive things. They were buying back their time. They delegate, they automate, and they invest. So their money and their hours could go toward what actually compounded. And the people who stay stuck were doing the opposite, spending on things that look good but created no future value, for example. Not because they couldn't afford it. Instead, it's because those purchases were quietly crowding out the investments that could have grown for decades. So I wanted to say the second key lesson that I've learned is rich people buy time, poor people buy stuff, and wealthy people invest first and spend what is left. And most people spend first and invest what is left. And that order over a lifetime is really the difference. Lesson number 3 is actually a little bit uncomfortable, but I have to say it because I was on the other side of the table previously. So you may know I worked in banking for a decade, but here is something most people in the industry will never tell you. So for example, as a banker or as a financial advisor for a financial institution, the primary KPI for those most client-facing bankers or financial advisors, 2 things. So one is net new money. The second one is the revenue for the bank. Net new money means how much money you bring to the bank, like from new clients, for example. And the revenue for the bank, they usually get it through selling you those really expensive mutual funds or insurance policies. So that's why a lot of people say online to those beginner investors that can never trust your banker, never trust your financial advisor, because they always have their KPIs in their mind. Like for example, if you are them, you have these kind of KPIs in your mind, would you put your interest first or the client's interest first? That means the person sitting across from you, the one who sounded really confident, use all the right terms, seems so genuinely interested in your financial future, is measured on how much money they bring into the bank or to the financial institution and how much product they sell. And the products they have incentive to sell to you are almost never be the lowest cost options. They are expensive, actively managed mutual funds with annual fees of 1.5% to 2%, or they sell you insurance-linked investment products, life insurance, etc., with 10 to 20 years lock-in or lifelong locked-in, and usually you pay them a huge amount of commission. And a lot of people say sometimes, the first year of your fees, the first year of the premium is their commission, basically. And it doesn't mean that every financial advisor is like this, is in bad faith. And some genuinely care, but the structure of the industry, I would say, they really create a conflict of interest that most clients never see, because we just don't know it exists. So the key lesson I've learned is that no one will ever care about your money as much as you do. Understand enough to protect yourself and to know when advice is genuinely in your interest and when it is not. The lesson 4 is about risk. So I thought I understood risk early on. I had, I was CFA charter holder, I interviewed those multimillionaires, billionaires. I thought I understood it. And I read about volatility and standard deviation. I had interviews enough investors to know that markets will go down and go up and come back and crash. And then the markets really dropped. And I felt something I had not expected, and very strong, very irrational pull to sell, to move to cash, to wait until things felt stable again, for example. And during the 2015 market crash, I panicked, I make mistakes. Yeah, I sold a bit, but during the 2020 COVID crash, I had learned finally. So I didn't sell. I was buying even more back then. So if I look back, I would say what stopped me was not bravery. So it was kind of like, finally, having a strategy that I understood and trusted and built around my goals and my timeline and not around with the headlines were saying that week. And one chart that I always like to share with you guys is, let's see what has happened in the past, let's say 50, 60, 70 years. We have COVID-19, we have US-China trade war, we have dot-com bubble, technology bubble, we have 2008 financial crisis, we have different wars, oil crisis. So basically, every single time market went down, and also every single time market recovered. Basically, literally every time. The headlines use the word unprecedented, and every time it turned out to be just noise. And here is something that I almost never talk about. So before banking, like I mentioned, I was a financial journalist. I wrote those headlines. I was not the best one. My editor always said, I need to work on that. But for example, market plunge, investor flee, is now the next crash, for example, and recession is coming. I wrote different versions of them, and I know exactly how they are constructed. The gap between the headline and the reality is almost always much wider than it appears. And journalists They love to scare people. That's how they get attention. So the key lesson that I've learned is if headlines are moving your investment decisions, your strategy is not strong enough yet. Build something you understand, then protect it from the noise. Lesson 5 is about when to start investing. So I started investing during my final year in my university. And the first year after graduation, I was earning about 30,000 USD a year in Hong Kong. And back then I couldn't save much. Everything in Hong Kong was super expensive. Today it's also super expensive. But I would say I saved a fixed amount, fixed percentage every month and invested automatically. And through the past decade, as my income grew from 30,000 USD back then, kind of roughly to 50, 100, and eventually to around 200K by the time I left corporate. So I kept that same habit. So when I moved to Switzerland in 2022, I was actually back then I was saving around 50% or sometimes even more. So not because I was being so extreme. So it's mainly because I had automated it and it's just kind of like a habit already. And that is actually what happens when you start early and do not stop. And the most common thing that I hear from not just limited to expats in Switzerland, but almost everyone is I'll start when I understand the Swiss financial system better, and I will start when the market calms down. But actually none of those moments ever come, right? And every month of waiting is really compounding in the wrong direction. And I didn't understand much when I made my first investment, although it was my life-saving 500. But I would say I tried and learned by doing. And if I look back now, I would say it's actually genuinely one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And before we move on, I just want to have a quick pause. So if this is resonating to you and you want to build your investment strategy from scratch without overwhelm, confusion, with just easy 5 simple steps as an expat in Switzerland, I really want to welcome you to my free investment class. So in only 60 minutes, I will walk you through how you can do it step by step by step. And I will put the link in the description area so you can sign up and come back. So the lesson 6 is actually about system. So for example, every time my salary landed, a fixed percentage went straight into my investment account. So automatically. So I didn't decide each month. It was kind of like a non-negotiable, like a bill. So like I mentioned, when I was earning just only 30,000 per year, that automatic amount was really small. And it didn't matter. So the habit was the point. So the amount grew as my income grew because the system was already in place. And I also learned later on as well. So I also automated my Pillar 3A contributions, set up once and max every year. And I also see people who rely on willpower to invest consistently. But the problem is sometimes life gets expensive. You have things to do, you're busy, and you skip a few months and you just don't know. So the lesson I've learned is the system beats willpower every single time. Do not trust yourself to make the right decision every month under pressure. Automate the decision once and let the system do it for you. So 12 years, 6 lessons. So if you ask me to summarize all of this, I would say start with your goal, not the product. Build the right mindset, who you take advice from, and ignore the noise. Start today and automate everything. That's it. Like I mentioned, if you're an expat in Switzerland and you want to build a strategy that is actually built around your life, not generic internet advice, I have 2 resources for you. I have a free 60 minutes investment webinar, so built specifically for expats in Switzerland, real number, real accounts, and a complete framework from start to finish. And if you're ready to go further, we also have a paid program called VISION Investment Academy, gives you the complete step-by-step system with direct support from me. So I'll put all the useful links in the video description area. So I will see you in the next one.